Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the She Did It community. I'm so happy to be here with you every Wednesday. We're here at 7 p.m. and we're here uh, speaking, having a conversation with a woman that she did it. And of course, I want to let you know that the She Did It community was founded and created by our instigator, somebody we all love very much, which is Karen Aristide. She has a lot of heart and a lot of passion put into this movement. So let's get started right now. We're going to be today. I'm really excited to meet Becky Russell. And Becky is, it's kind of interesting because she thought she was always going to be a teacher or social worker. And now she's a wellness advocate. And this with doTERRA essential oils. So she's discovered the perfect blend of her two passions. So the heart of the doTERRA and how they impact lives around the world. Wow, that's, and with the internet, we are able to go, globally, which is so cool. And she has really high standards to ensure quality oils make her proud to be part of such an amazing company. So let's hear a little bit more about Becky. So Becky, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I just had a birthday.
Hey,
So I
happy
just turned
birthday.
63.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm a little late to the game of entrepreneurship.
You're
So
never late.
I've always been a late bloomer, and that's okay. I embrace it now. But I have always loved to learn. That's been a steadfast thing with me, to learn and help people. And so I was a travel agent. I thought I would go to college and I didn't. But I ended up being a travel agent, and that ended up being a wonderful school. This little girl from, this podunk town in Ohio, has been all over the world, and never made much money, but I have amazing memories. And so I learned I guess I have this space that people trust. I don't know, but any when traveling, people, especially like elderly people, would be unsure of what to do, where to find their luggage, and they just latched onto me. So I would, of course, help them. And then in a strange country, you can't speak the language, you can't be timid, or you have to speak up. So I think it was actually better for me to do that than college, because it was outside my comfort zone. But so travel agent for 8 years, and then an at-home mom of two. And I realized I was feeling brain dead and felt guilty that I wasn't fulfilled just being a mom, and all my other friends were. And, but we're all wired differently. And I didn't want a job outside the home necessarily, but I had to, something was missing. So even though we didn't have it in the budget, I found a class at a non-credit class at a community college on creative writing. And I thought, it'll get me out at night. I can be with adults and not talk about babies. And I mean, I love being a mom. I love, my children, but I had to have more to that. And God tricked me. And so the more, what you're going to see is a pattern that I'm not very smart. God just tricks me into things. And so, the class was actually how to write a novel.
Yes.
And I would have never signed up for that. And the teacher was a romance author, and she saw something in my writing and basically bullied me into going to a local conference and entering the contest. And from there, God's little angels on earth just kept encouraging me and supporting me. And 10 years later, I sold 2 books to Harlequin Silhouette.
Wow.
And I thought that was it. I thought I would do that till I died and would be happy doing that. And I'm not going to bore you with the details, but that did not happen. And so then, long story short, we ended up in Tennessee after my husband retired, and I was just working, a job just because he wasn't, and I had to be doing something. And I someone introduced me to doTERRA essential oils, and I was already living a holistic lifestyle for over 25 years. So it just was a natural fit to have them in my life. I never thought of selling them, but I actually had a vision at the first class that I was up there teaching. So it was pretty crazy.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome, Becky. It's amazing how, sometimes we feel that, yes, this is our destiny. This is
Hmm.
but there's some things that are hidden inside of us. And you say, no, sometimes we suppress them and we say, no, 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 I can't do that. I can't do that. And then maybe, like subconsciously, maybe you wanted to write a romantic novel, and maybe you wanted to do this. But it sounds like you followed your intuition and you just went for it. And sometimes, also having the support of family, that's big. That can really propel you into really what you enjoy doing, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, 10 years is a long time to go after a dream. And that's a lot of rejections in that amount of time. And now the first 4 years were more like going to college, learning all I could about the craft and so forth. But 6 years of heavy duty submitting, rejection, that's hard. And there were times when I didn't feel like I was a writer, and my family just never questioned it. If anyone asked, what does your mom do? She's a writer, even if I'd
Nice.
taken the year off. And it was so, and my daughter, God love her, she had a favorite teacher, and she asked them for an assignment one time to bring the opening scene of their favorite book.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't even published at the time. And my daughter, without asking, she was probably in eighth grade. She
Okay.
took the first page of my manuscript to her class, and the teacher read it and then wanted to read the rest of the book. And I was
Really?
mortified because no one outside of my writer friends had read anything. So that my daughter got me, she pushed me as well, just didn't think anything of it. She just took that in.
Wow, that is
So,
awesome to have that kind of support, even with your 8-year-old daughter in a romantic novel.
yeah. Oh, she
I,
didn't know what that. And they're sweet romances, the PG-13. So I didn't have to worry about that.
well, that's awesome. So, so it sounds like you sort of, you serendipitously sort of went into entrepreneurship. So do
Yes.
you feel like you're a entrepreneur, or if not, was your intent to be an entrepreneur and work from home? If so, what was the key driving force for that?
Well, I guess with the writing, um, you know, you're an entrepreneur, I guess. I wrote for Harlequin, but it was my name, my work. So I guess I don't know if that's the same as an entrepreneur, but it definitely, I was not at a 9 to 5 job. Um,
Gotcha.
and I determined the pace and so forth. But I never just like I never had a dream of becoming a published author, I never had a dream of owning my own business. That
Mm-hmm.
never. And especially at 55.
Mm-hmm.
So even my husband was like, are you sure you want to do this? Because most people at our ages are slowing down. And here you are starting something up. And it was like, it's all I want to do.
Yes.
So I no, there was no intention. I had no idea that was what I was supposed to be doing. But I think because of the holistic background, and I'm not genetically blessed with good genes, and my entire family is not. So I watched a lot of suffering and early death from
Oh,
type
sorry.
2 diabetes and congestive heart failure and all those things. And I was helpless
Mm-hmm.
to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And so once I got older, I left home at 18. So once I got older and had some information that could help them, they didn't want to hear it.
Mhm.
And I'm the kid, I'm the, the one that
Yeah.
left and all that. So I think what's so poetic is the writing was amazing because it sort of got the monkey off my back about maybe I really wasn't smart enough to go to college.
Mhm.
It's like, hey, I got published. I don't need to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was the plan for that. It wasn't a lifelong career. It was the plan to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And all the skills I learned with that are now serving me with this business, marketing, branding, all
Yeah.
those things.
Nice.
And and determination, tenacity, hanging in there for 10 years. If I have a setback in this business, is it 10 years? I can do it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So it's so many good lessons. And but yeah, it sometimes feels very strange that I didn't choose anything.
Mhm. Well, for you, it's normal, and it's unusual. Like probably 10 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to plan this, right? You wouldn't have been
No.
to say, okay, I'm going to do this, and this. And sometimes, yes, it took 10 years, but it brought you to where, now you believe in yourself, you have the confidence, and probably it was always there, but in some ways you were. Like I always say, we have to be careful about what we tell each other, right? So it sounds that although you did have some negative thoughts, maybe your subconscious uh, somehow had some positive thoughts that surface, which is kind of cool. And your openness, I think your empathy and intuition is probably what where got you where you are today. And we have to follow those, right?
Well, and I heard early on a uh, quote that someone said with writers was uh, talent, or what they success is 10% talent and 90% tenacity.
Hmm.
And I thought, other people are like, oh no, that's horrible. And I'm like, yes, I know I've got 10%. That's nothing. 10%, that I've got 10% talent and I've got tenacity in spades.
There you
So,
go.
and that's a good lesson,
Yeah.
that you have to be tenacious. You cannot be half in, half out. And,
Oh, I
you know,
totally,
and there were
totally.
some amazing writers who gave up, who we will never be blessed with their gift
Yeah.
because they didn't have that. And it's very sad.
They didn't have that. Yeah, especially in this world, right? We want the quick fix. We want
Yes.
a writing course. I'm going to be a writer next week. And it doesn't work that way. It's like the iceberg, right? Like for yourself, you're for maybe 5 years, 4 years, or 6 years, you were underwater, and then all of a sudden you peaked out as like an iceberg, right? And
Mhm.
um, so we have to know the story behind the success, because sometimes we hear only about the results, and even uh writers or singers and songwriters and things like that, like they all said, wow, they are awesome, but we don't know the trouble that they went to for 10
Right.
years before getting where they are. So good on you for the tenacity and stay in there and staying true to yourself. And by the way, I just wanted to say, yeah, happy birthday. And you don't look 60, you look
Oh,
amazing. And when you started talking about genes, I was going to say, what, you have amazing genes, but then I realized what you were talking about. But so then how do you define success? It's like for yourself, how would you define success? I think you've mentioned a little bit about that, but do you have some key ingredients to your success?
well, I've always been selfishly motivated and I don't make any excuses for that. I think if more people would do that, they would see more success. I think a lot of times they choose something because they should,
Yes.
or it will make a lot of money, or that's what their dad did or their mom did or whatever. And um, I've always been, what makes me happy? What would I do for free?
Hmm.
So that's sort of when there's no plan B. If there's something I'm committed to, there's like when I was trying to get published, ebooks just started coming out back then.
Okay.
And a lot of people jumped ship from standard publishing to do that because it was easier, quicker.
Yes.
And that wasn't even an option for me. That would mean I gave up. And then now with doTERRA, there's what I love about their culture and their training is they don't sugarcoat it. They don't say it's an overnight thing, or they make sure you understand you put in the work for 4 or 5 years, and then you have your residual income, and you can, you have it easier. But the
Yeah,
work is up front.
that's
So
right.
I love that they do not try to trick you into anything. And it does get rid of people who aren't in it for the long haul. So
Exactly.
I love, I of course, obviously love a challenge, but um, I don't even look at it that way because it's something I would do for free. I love the oils. I love the company. I would be a customer whether or not I was doing the business.
Mhm.
So
And
it's
that
it's a
makes it easier.
no-brainer.
And it makes it easier, right? If you like the product and you want to tell the world, you want to, tell everybody about it. And so then, so as a doTERRA, um, person, so as a doTERRA entrepreneur, what would you advise the other female entrepreneurs that wanted to get into doTERRA as well? Like, yes, okay, first of all, it takes time, but what else would you advise them to be successful with doTERRA?
Well, with doTERRA or any direct sales, if you have to love, I mean, to me, it makes no sense. If you
Yeah.
don't love the product, it's going to be an uphill battle. If you, like I talked to someone the other day that they were going to get out of something similar to that because they didn't want to spend $50 a month on the product. And I'm like, what? I could, I buy everything I can at doTERRA because I trust their quality, and I know we're making a difference in Nepal and Somaliland and all these places. So I can't fathom that. I'm not judging, but
No,
then they're obviously not the right fit for that.
exactly. It's
You
not for
have to be a
everybody.
product of the product, whether it's coaching, whether it's accounting. You have to live and breathe it and love it.
Yes.
And then the other thing is, I feel you have to have a love of the company, the culture, you have to believe in them. And I was introduced to doTERRA first, and I, in 6 years, have not found one reason to look anywhere else. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome. So then tell us a little bit about, uh, about the what would you advise, sorry, so what are some of your failures, like if you could tell us about some of your failures, to our community, and the best lessons that you have learned from them.
um, probably trying to do everything myself. Um,
Yes, we're all guilty of that.
yes, yes. I have a little bit of control issues, and so that is a little something I've worked on. I know one of the things I would wished I don't call it a mistake, but I'm not a creative person as far as designing a logo or labels or anything like that. And I can write, but I can't design stuff. And so I was so insecure about that. And I needed that confidence of having something beautiful
Mhm.
that I paid someone to help design labels for me. And that's a cost that we didn't necessarily have to do. That was on me because I was insecure. And I think if I could tell anyone, don't don't worry about it. It's not, it's such you can just do something generic. It's not going to make a difference. And they're buying you, your story, your personality, not what your label looks like.
Yeah,
And
and that's a hard lesson to learn. I just learned that, and they, some people are trying to tell me it's not your product, Joanne. It's not your product. It's you. It's you. And I said, yeah. And finally, bang, I got it. And you're so right. People are buying you. They want the experience with you. And that is such a good lesson, a good message to give to our community, because a lot of time we think that we need product or we need things, or that we need the big, the big website or the big thing. All
right.
you need when you're starting out is a product. You do need a product. You need a list, and you need a ways of them paying. That's
Yeah,
the three basic things that you need to start off with. And with respect to creativity, so Becky, you have an imagination, right?
sure.
So you are creative.
Yeah, but it's in a different way. It's I can't even draw a stick figure. I mean, it's just we all
Yes.
have our strengths and weaknesses, and my strength is not there.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. And also it's always, to be able to go for that help, or the things that either that we don't feel we have the talent for, or the things that we hate doing. So at the beginning, yeah, we have to wear all those hats, but eventually we have to let some things go and
Well, and what you don't realize at the time is by focusing on something like that, you're making it about you, not
yes.
about the person you're trying to serve.
Oh, that is so true.
And
I love
so,
that.
I'm trying to ease my anxiety about not looking professional instead of thinking, what is the main thing to help this person?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's all,
also not thinking about how you can't duplicate it. For the people I bring on to do the business with me, they can't afford that.
yeah.
That would be undue pressure on them to think that that's what they had to do. But
Yeah.
I was so new, I didn't understand all
Yeah.
that.
So you would be a great coach for newbies, like people coming in to help them out in their journey.
Well, I've
So
been accused of being a life coach, whether I have the certificate or not, but
so maybe that's gonna be your next career then after doTERRA.
well, and interestingly enough, they use the Clifton Strengths, the Strength Finder method for training and
Yes.
to help all that. I love personal development. I just love it. And once you hit a certain rank in doTERRA, you can actually get trained to teach that.
There you go.
So that's a goal of mine to get to be able to do that. I think that'd be a blast.
Wow, that is awesome, especially if you've loved the product so much, you've sell it, you know everything about it. Wow, I think you'd be a great teacher. And your heart is in the right place. But definitely, I always say, having a focus on other people is such a key element, in anything that we do. And so then how do you develop your key partnerships that you have right now?
Well, one definitely is through Fem City.
Hmm.
That's how I met your fearless leader.
Awesome.
And it's female entrepreneurs that are just all supporting one another. And we meet every week on a virtual networking coffee. They have free group coaching and for their members. I am the leader of the Johnson City chapter here locally.
Nice.
And I just believe in it. I love the idea of women empowering women. We have our newest member is only 23
Wow.
years old, and it's just I love it. I just am so proud of her, and it's really cool to sort of give back that way.
That's
And then also, uh, I am I teach about essential oils, I sell essential oils, but I'm also my main big message is aging with a quality of life because of
oh
what I grew up with.
yes.
So I team up with other holistic practitioners and do interviews like we're doing right now. And we talk about some holistic ways of how we can take care of ourselves. And, you know,
And
my
age
family,
gracefully. Mhm.
yeah, my family did not age, even most didn't live very long. And
Oh,
probably
sorry.
10 years before they died, their health was, their quality of
Mhm.
life was awful. I
Yeah.
don't want that for me. I don't want that for anyone. So anyone who'll listen, I want to share what I've learned on my journey of holistic living, which obviously includes the oils. And that's what doTERRA has done for me as well. Yes, the oils are amazing. They're a big tool in the toolbox of limiting the toxins and so forth that age you.
Hmm.
But doTERRA has given me a platform for that message. If I was not doing essential oils through doTERRA, it would just be me in Johnson City talking about holistic living to my neighbors, to my uh, family that won't listen, to
Hmm.
my coworkers, whatever it was. I wouldn't have this big platform. I wouldn't be talking to you.
Wow.
So
You know,
doTERRA has, yes, it's enhanced my life and it's given me an amazing business opportunity. And I'm so grateful for all that. But it's also a platform for my big message of how to age with a quality of life.
wow, that is so awesome, Becky, because, we always looking for that reason we get up in the morning, that fulfillment and all this. And it sounds like you found it in that. And that's such a great message because me too, I say, if you look after yourself now, you will enjoy quality of life in your later years. And that is such, and also I'm also, I help women, sometimes in 55 and up or in their 50s that are starting to think about retirement, but they say, oh, I want to do something else, but their family are keeping them down. And they say, no, no, it's time to retire. You've worked all
Yes.
your year. But no, like, look at people like you. We can see you shine. You're shining and you're ready to keep on going. And, it's not age.
My worry is I'll run out of time.
Oh, I love it. Oh, well, we hope that you never run out of time. And we're so grateful to have people like you, to do and to have that great message. I'm definitely going to look you up. So you're going to have to tell us, so leave us with some parting words and how can people connect with you?
So parting words, I really, because of my background of losing family members young, of watching them suffer, and not always their fault. I'm not judging anyone. It was more, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
They grew up in an era where they smoked and,
Yeah.
sedentary lifestyle and just not understanding nutrition and so forth. And, but don't take time for granted. Time is a precious, precious gift. And the saddest thing for me is to see people on autopilot
Oh,
and they are not engaged in their life. They are just going through the motions. They're collecting that paycheck or they're so depressed they don't even know why they get up in the morning or they can't
yeah,
get up in the morning.
that is sad.
And I I've just, even as a young person, had such a sense of time is precious.
Mhm.
You're not guaranteed anything. And in my family, I have one surviving aunt who is 75. And then there's me at 63. There's no one else left older.
Oh,
That's scary. That's frightening. I
yeah.
don't want that for other families, for other people. And so you have to understand that you are not put on this world, in this work, on this earth to be alone, to only care about you. Um, you're here to make a difference, and it can be small or it can be big, but that I truly, it, you want, how are you going to make a difference?
Wow. That's a great message. And you know, like you say, it doesn't have to be that big. Just making a difference by smiling to somebody, like just having a smile, and to have communities. You're so right, you know, like this is why She Did It community is so important for women, the Fem City, and any communities out there, especially in this COVID. I've at first the continuous Zoom was, yes, it
Yes.
was tiring, but then I said, okay, no, wait, I have to accept this. This is how we're going to live. This is how I connect with people. This is how I check in with people. It's not just
Yeah.
about me. There's some people that are by themselves, and which, you know, so that's a great message. I love that. So how can we connect with you, Becky?
Well, my company is called Hope Essential. So
Okay.
it's very important to get that word hope in there. And of course, essential oils, but Hope Essential. And the website is hopeessential.com.
Okay.
And I'm on Facebook, Hope Essential LLC. And then you can email me, Becky at hopeessential.com. I do Instagram, but it's not that's not my main thing. Facebook is my main thing. So,
That's
but yeah,
great.
I'd love to chat with anyone and just, you know, I think one of the things I've heard a lot of people say, and I've told my kids this too, what's the worst that can happen when you try something new, when you start something new?
Yeah.
And I recently heard someone say, that's a good question, but what about asking an additional question? What's the best thing that can happen?
Wow.
So if you can answer those two things, I think you can pretty much move forward. So
That's so give me those questions again. The first question is,
what is the worst thing that can happen if you
yes,
try something new, you try your new business and you fail? And
okay, I'm
I'll
just
be
writing this
honest,
in, I'm
when I
writing this
first
in the chat.
started with doTERRA, I I had a huge setback and I had to decide, am I going to stick it out or am I going to just say this isn't meant to be? It was like there was no plan B. I'm in it and I persevered. But the other question is, what's the best thing that can happen if you succeed?
That's awesome. Yeah. And this is what I wrote in the chat. What is the best thing that can happen? I love it. Or what's the worst
Because
thing?
there is a realist in us, we want to be realistic.
Yeah.
So really, are you going to die? Probably not. Could you lose some money? Maybe. But
Yeah.
what is the worst thing? But then don't stay there. What's the best thing?
I love that. That's you always have to look, yeah, at a bit of the positive, and that to have that language and to say what's the best thing and something to look forward to. Well, Becky, this has been awesome. So grateful to have had an opportunity to meet you and listen to your journey. And I really love your message. And I definitely will gonna hook up with you. But in the meantime, I invite you to go in our chat and just put in your information in there, your website and email. And so we can have people connect. And I'm gonna have to check out that Farm City too. So
Yes.
so thank you, thank you. Well, thank you everybody at the She Did It community. Thanks for joining us. If you're here with us live, or if you're going to be checking out this recording, you got to listen to Becky's story. It's just amazing. And join us again next week. So next week at 7 p.m. we're going to be here. And also on Thursday, which is tomorrow, join us at 11 o'clock 11 o'clock Eastern time. Becky, you're more than welcome to join us. We have our networking event, should be a lot of fun, a lot of conversation, and everybody's going to have their 2 minutes. So looking forward to
Okay.
that. So good
Well,
night,
thank you so
everybody.
much, Joanne.
It was my pleasure.